Welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or my list and sideboard guides before tournaments, check out Patreon or the YouTube membership program. This channel is made possible by these amazing sponsors. Check out all their links in the video description below. Once again, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing some Modern at the request of Patreon subscriber Kevin. And this was a brew challenge that took many forms. It was a long road to get here. Kevin originally reached out with a Gishath Sun's Avatar Dino Cannon deck. The deck had an insane density of dinosaurs, so if you ever connect with a Gishath, and you have all the normal ways of cheating it into play, like Goryo's Vengeance and stuff, if you ever connect with it, you just hurl an unbeatable amount of dinosaurs into play. And while that is a delight, the deck was pretty awkward because it had too many dinosaurs in it. And then it kind of moved in our conversation from a Reanimator deck into a Neoform deck. Atraxa came out during the time that we were talking about this, and it was just sort of like, it's not actually a dinosaur, but it's a big thing that's fun to put into play and then does exciting stuff once it's there. Maybe we'll go something in that direction. And then a couple weeks ago, as this deck was looming closer, a new dinosaur was printed that also happens to do storm kind of stuff. Etali Primal Conqueror. When it enters the battlefield, each player exiles cards from the top of their library until they exile a non-land card. You may cast any number of spells from among the non-land cards exiled this way without paying their mana costs. You get 2 cards right away. They are at random unless you do something to make them less random. But it is a 7/7 that comes with 2 free spells right away. Etali was a perfect printing for a number of reasons. One of them is that you get all these free spells and you don't have to shove a million dinosaurs in your deck. So it is still a dinosaur itself, so if you're trying to scratch a dinosaur itch, you're going to get there on this. But outside of the flavor of being a dinosaur, it also has the same mana value as Atraxa. These are both 7 drops, which matters a lot because this is a Neoform deck. There were also iterations where it was an In Search of Greatness deck, but the final version just couldn't make sense of that card in it. But Neoform, sack a creature, search your library for a creature card with mana value equal to 1 plus the sacked creature's mana value, put that card onto the battlefield with an additional +1 counter on it. If we Neoform a 6-drop, we can get Atraxa or Etali. And guess who our 6-drops? Tasigur the Golden Fang and Hooting Mandrills. Premier Delve creatures, back from Khan's block. You frequently don't pay 6 mana for these, but they are 6 once they're in play. And then you can flip them into dinosaurs or Praetors. I guess she's not actually a Praetor, she's a Phyrexian angel. She's the voice of the Praetors, my bad. Phyrexians. Dinos or Phyrexians come out of the monkeys and banana men. Etali is also the perfect printing, because not only does it cost 7, but it's a legend. So Goryo's Vengeance overlaps with Atraxa and Etali. It also doesn't have to attack to get its ability, so it's better than Gishath in that way, because ideally you'd like to end step Goryo's Vengeance in your opponent's end step, so you could protect it with Force of Negation, and then it comes into play, does the thing, you go to your turn, you get an attack out of it with all your mana up, and then maybe more cool stuff will happen. Gishath has to attack to do its thing, so Etali is better there. Also, we have the blue scam card, Essence Flux. Exile target creature you control, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. If it's a spirit, put a +1 counter on it. This doesn't do anything with Gishath, but it's great with Etali. If you hit Etali, exile Essence Flux, flicker Etali, you get to go again with Etali, and if you happen to Goryo's Vengeance it into play, this is a new Etali that Goryo's Vengeance doesn't kill at the end of the turn. Flickering Atraxa is great. Flickering Etali is great. All these pieces lining up great. I mentioned In Search of Greatness, which did not make the cut, but I did make room for Cream of the Crop, which was another Kevin suggestion. 1 and a green enchantment. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may look at the top X cards of your library where X is that creature's power. If you do, put 1 of those cards on top of your library and the rest on the bottom in any order. Cream of the Crop works great with every single creature in this deck. paying 1 or 2 mana for a Tasigur or Hooting Mandrills, then looking at the top 4, setting up your next draw. Insane value. Reef, do it for free. Look at your top 3 cards. Insane value. But where this gets very exciting is with Etali, because you can stack your triggers however you like. Etali and Cream of the Crop will trigger at the same time, so you can look at your top 7 and set up the card you're going to hit, which could be an Atraxa, and now you have a gajillion power in play and more cards in your hand. It could even be another Etali, and then you could get a card off your opponent, and then get another Etali yourself, and get another round of Cream of the Crop and another card from your opponent, and just cast a ton of spells in their end step, then untap and win somehow. Good chance this is the living definition of win more, but I like it. I think it's fun. It gives the Dino-Storm angle a little more juice rather than just Dino Reanimator. This is something we can actually kind of storm out with. And of course, credit where it's due, the core of this list came from Aspiring Spike. Many years ago, there was an episode of South Park where basically the joke was they were trying to think of jokes, and every time they thought of a joke, somebody said, Simpsons did that. And there are no original jokes left on TV because The Simpsons made all the jokes already. That's kind of what Aspiring Spike is to Modern. And I strive to be that for Legacy, but I'm not playing Legacy. And when I had to figure out how to get spicy 7-drops into play, obviously Aspiring Spike has already brewed a Neoform Atraxa deck. I borrowed the shell, I shoved dinosaurs and Cream of the Crop into it, and that's how we got here. Shout out to Aspiring Spike for all the work he does. And the last important piece of this deck is when Kevin sent me the idea, it was with the stipulation that I make a Jurassic Park quote every time I reanimate a dinosaur. I'm going to do my best to remember to do that. I've got a few loaded up. I love Jurassic Park. Should be easy to do. Let's get into this. This is Kevin's Dino-Form Dino-Storm. On the draw for round 1. Opening hand a little too awkward to keep. I would keep this with an Otherworldly Gaze, but I have 2 Essence Fluxes instead. And a mulligan. Okay, we've got Tainted Indulgence, Etali. I could discard Etali. I'm going to keep this, and I think I send Hooties to the bottom. I'm going to try to swing for the fences in game once before there's hate. They're vile. Maybe I'm supposed to force that, but it seems unlikely. I have to fetch Overgrown Tomb to get all my colors with this Misty Rainforest. See if they have an Arbiter for me. I would have fetched on my turn if Vial would have gone up to 2, but we're safe right now. Thalia is a huge beating. Overgrown Tomb. It's like they know I'm playing a 17 land combo deck. Oh my god, I had it, and now I don't have it anymore. Okay, now I need a land before anything happens. But when I find it, we're in good shape. Okay, this looks like mono-white humans, not actually death and taxes, which is little consolation because we're dead. Yeah, they have the nut curve on the play here. God, there's more. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Just get it done while it's there. Disgusting. Okay. This game is unwinnable. And let's go to the next one. Okay, so Subtlety could slow them down a little bit. Force of Negation does not seem important at all against this mono creature deck. Do I even want... I don't actually have enough cards to take out that I can get rid of all my Force of Negations. You can Goryo's Vengeance and Emrakul, but I don't think that's going to be that important. Stubborn Denial could hit like Aether Vial. Nah, alright. This is just my deck. Okay. This is what I said last game of I would keep this hand with Otherworldly Gaze. So here we are. And I have a Subtlety. I'm going to let Vial happen. Well, not that I have a choice. And I want to fetch blue-green here. And Gaze. Surveil 3. I'm looking for a land. It tracks in the graveyard. Cream of the Crop in the graveyard. Put a Delta on top. And as much fun as this Cream of the Crop would be, I think I need to Gaze again. If they cast a Thalia, I'll Subtlety it. This 1-drop is probably champion. I don't think there's a 1-drop that... Okay, yep, that one is pretty good. I was about to say I don't think there's a 1-drop that makes it so I can't fetch, but there is a 1-drop so they draw a card if I do. I could gaze from hand now so they don't draw a card, or I could just give them a card and execute my plan as cleanly as possible. Trying to decide what the best sequence here is. If I gaze from graveyard, right, I'm gonna fetch Shock Watery Grave, and I'm gonna gaze from my graveyard. They get to draw a card, but I want to do this before I decide if I'm gonna counter this Aspirant or not. It tracks in the graveyard. There is a Hootie here. I can't get a land and the Hoots all at once. I could get land this turn, Hoots next turn, and shove it all on the same turn. I'm just going to put Hooties on top with land under it, and not going to counter Aspirant. This makes Extra Sentinel bigger, which makes things cost more, but I could never pay for that anyway. Hooting Mandrills in play. I can Neoform with Etali in play next turn, and I can Subtlety a creature if they cast one. Like so. Where would you like your Peacekeeper to go? I hope they don't have Solitude. Don't know if this deck even plays Solitude, but I hope they don't have it. Okay. Honest, no attack there. And now I get to Neoform. Just have to decide if I want to try to Dino-Storm or just get Atraxa. And I think it's Atraxa, unfortunately. Can't pay for Esper. It's a 3/3. I am going to get Atraxa. Lifelink matters a lot. Okay, Energy or Essence Flux, let's go. Do I want Grief Subtlety as my creature? Neoform's an easy... Oh, yeah, Neoform's an easy sorcery because it's the only one. I'll take Misty Rainforest as a land. Definitely Essence Flux because I have to protect my Atraxa. And I'll take Goryos for another... Oh, wait, no. I already have an instant. Yeah. Get a creature. I guess it's Subtlety. Creature, sorcery, land, instant. Done. Okay. Handful of cards, 8/8 Atraxa versus the creature deck. And I can protect her once. And I can Subtlety once. And they didn't Violin. That's cool. Cavern of Souls. Subtlety doesn't care about that. I'm gonna fetch in response here. Get basic island. And they can have the Peacekeeper. Okay, they're making a decision. They named Essence Flux. And here's Adeline. Do I care about this? I can hardcast Subtlety next turn. They have to attack for Adeline to get any action. Atraxa heads Vigilance. I'm just going to trust my giant creature to get it done here. Okay, cool. We're in business. I'm untapping into the Essence Flux even through Peacekeeper. Giant Atraxa attack. And I can play Hooties and hold up Pitchcast Subtlety and Flicker. That sounds great. I could even Neoform out a dinosaur right now. That sounds so greedy and bad, though. I'll make plays for the memes when I'm not under so much pressure. They did not put a counter on their Vial. That has to be a misclick. Vial number 3. The pitfall of Aether Vial decks is sometimes you have more of them than you want. Value's Lieutenant is in. Activating Mutavault. Adeline is huge, but I don't care. Atraxa is gaining more life than Adeline is making. Okay, cool. And I can fetch Overgrown Tomb. Oh, did we just get BTFO'd? Yeah, we did. Shit. I am an idiot. That was completely avoidable. No reason to fetch at all. God damn. Alright, well. Now I've lost for no reason. Well, that sucked ass. Alright, well. I guess I'm going to try to Dino-Storm here. And go Cream of the crop, or no, I don't even know if I can Essence Flicker. So, Cream of the Crop and Neoform is the play. That was so bad. No reason to do that at all. Alright, let's Dino out. I hope my opponent gives me a Solitude. I would like to use Cream of the Crop's ability. I found the second Etali. Yep, that's what we're doing here. I'll cast your Esper Sentinel and my Etali. I'm actually going to keep the bigger one. I have an 8/8. And Hooting Mandrills is bigger than Grief. They do have a card in their hand. I don't think size matters that much here. Get your Champion of the Parish, and I'll get my Grief. And these all do cream stuff. Cream stuff. Shit. Well, I have to keep one of the cards. I can't decline. It's not Thassa's Oracle. Grief takes a Peacekeeper. Champion comes in. Don't use this ability. Yeah, I just look at the same card again and have to keep it. Yeah, that's how that works. Okay. Oh, I forgot to do the Jurassic Park thing. Hold on to your butts. Okay, I'm pretty sure we're losing. All of my Atraxas are in exile, unless I can remove Brutal Cathar somehow. Okay, here comes the big attack. Adeline is now a Gigundus Chungus. My 8/8 Trample probably doesn't even beat this board, and it costs 9 to flip this. That's not going to happen. Big attacks. Take a 1/1. What are my best blocks? I can put my 2/2 easily on your 1/1. You can put my 3/2 in front of your Aspirant, my 8/8 in front of your 5/5. And if I make no additional blocks, I take 10, 14, 17. I go to 3. Guess I'll put something under the Adeline bus. That is a lot of life. Mutavault was her last card in hand. Do have Essence Flux that can flicker Etali. That will untap it and give me some extra spells in combat next turn. Etali, make it happen, big guy. They're jumping with Adeline. That's awesome. Oh, they're not jumping. They're trading with Adeline. Disappointing. They animate their other Mutavault to trade. Okay, so I guess I just flicker Etali then. Because I'm not winning a game where this is not happening. Alright, let's go. Cream of the Crop. I don't think there's a single removal spell in the deck. Tasigur is a creature I can cast. Thalia and Tasigur. Do I even want Thalia? I mean, I'm just going to chump block with her. It's fine. And she does grow my champ. Cream is good for 2. It's worth doing. Goryo's Vengeance. Hell yeah. I'll put that on top. Tasigur, also a human, hilariously. That I totally would have remembered in paper. 3 Goryo's Vengeance is on top. I will keep one of them there. And that's the end of the combat step. I get another Etali next turn out of Goryo's Vengeance. A Brutal Cathar flips back down. Ugh, that card is so good. Who would have thought that putting a single removal spell in my deck would be the difference between winning and losing easily? Okay, so Etali's gone. Oh, bummer. If only I floated another one on top of my deck. Wink, wink. Animating a 2/2 Mutavault into an onboard First Strike Thalia is suspicious. They do have a Vial on 2 for purposes of vialing in a Thalia's Lieutenant. They've finally put the Anointed Peacekeeper into combat. I'm just going to make all the best blocks available to me because I lose to Thalia's Lieutenant being the one card in their hand no matter what. So here they are. Go ahead, blow me out. Yep, there it is. Oh, it's Thalia, not Thalia's Lieutenant. That's fine. Cool. Just took all my best blocks, rewarded for it. And here we are. Okay, now the decision to Goryo now or next turn. I guess I should do it now to try to actually win the game somehow. Do I lose if I do this? Can I win if I stabilize? I genuinely don't even know what I'm playing to at this point. I think it's better to do this in combat because I don't have a lethal attack. And if I can blow them out somehow, we're in business. Here's Mutavault. Here's the attack. Everything except Cathar's coming in. Goryo's Vengeance targeting Etali. This is it, folks. I get to cream. Clever girl. This is many redundant copies of the cards I already have, so I guess I want Essence Flux. I can't put a second Tasker into play here, and I don't have a creature in the graveyard to Goryo. I need Etali to give me some blockers from the opponent. Flux target Etali. That does cost 1. That's a Thalia. And now I get to keep this dinosaur if I survive the turn. Subtlety, that's a blocker. Oh shit. Does Subtlety have to target? Do I have to counter my own Hopeful Initiate here? Read it. Choose up to 1. Okay, no, we're good. Okay, Etali. Give me a Luminarch Aspirant and a Subtlety, who will not be targeting anything. I think this is enough blockers to survive. No target for Subtlety. Cream a Hootie to the top. And my Champion of the Parish is going to get 2 extra counters here. Don't need to cream anymore. And I have a gigantic creature. Okay, go to blocks. 6/6 in front of Adeline. That's a trade. 1/2 in front of 1/1. 3/3 in front of 2/1. Etali, eat Mutavault. Tassiger, eat human. And Luminarch Aspirant, eat shit. Okay. That was certainly a turn that occurred. Life finds a way. I keep the Etali because Goryo's got flickered. Now we're in business. We have a lethal attack. Their creature does have first strike. 7, 8, 9, 10, 14. Okay, this is lethal. Even if they do block the creature, they can beat. They would need something to come out of the Aether Vial, and even then I still have a bunch of blockers. Oh, it's a second one of these, but it's on the wrong side. That's cool. I've never seen that drawback come up before. Get wrecked, nerd. Second main, Hootie. Have I cast a spell yet? I have not, so the Cathar won't flip back. That's important. I've got a blocker. I can play another blocker. And Cream of the Crop has been insane this game. I'm concerned about my clock. There's been a lot of clicking and trying to figure shit out in this game. I am just going to drop the Subtlety for full blocking. This way, if they did top deck the Talia's Lieutenant, I'm not dead. That was crazy. Okay. I messed up that game. It didn't need to take that long, but we made it happen on the back end. I'm looking at the Force of Vigor and Force of Negation, and I still think I want to keep Force of Negation because Subtlety is one of my more important cards. Okay, I'm in trouble to Thalia, but I have the turn 3 Etali if they don't have that. Their Worldly Gaze, okay. That's a card I can play. I can turn to Tassiger if they do have Thalia. Sanctifier Envec, okay. This game just got worse. I'm going to have to Neoform to get a monster into play this game. Both of my reanimate targets are red. Or no, red or black. Atraxa is literally not red. It's the one color she isn't. All of these into the graveyard. These all get to stay there, and that enables a Tassiger, which is a creature that has enough stats to be around. Alright, I can grief pitching Goryos, because I'm just not going to have a target for Goryos. All the legends in my deck are the wrong colors. Anointed Peacekeeper, I can't take both of them, but I'll start with one, I guess. An Overgrown Tomb, and a larger creature than their creatures. This is a temporary measure, and the Sanctifier can keep bashing through it. This Anointed Peacekeeper gets to lock both of the cards out of my hand. It's possible I'm supposed to Tainted Indulgence last turn, but then they just Anointed Peacekeeper something else. And having the 4 or 5 body in play, I think, is important. They could also just proactively name Neoform to not get blown out. but then that lets me do my indulgences. This is actually a tough call from them. Do you name Neoform in case I draw it because you're just dead if I do? Or do you stop me from being able to select for it? I would name Indulgence here. They name Neoform. Okay, cool. I get to keep indulging. Try to find lands and the stats to cast, or what I need to cast Neoform. Okay, I am gonna indulge on my turn. I would like to find a land drop, and I did not, but I did find Neoform. I'll discard this Etali. It's gone, but that's fine. Miss the land, have the Neoform. We have a plan emerging here. The only thing they can attack with right now is Sanctifier. Jesus Christ. Come on. I took one of those and you drew another one. They probably just named Neoform with this one too, and just make it cost 6. Oh, they named Tainted Indulgence. Okay, so if I run a runner lands, we're doing it. But why would that ever work? Here's the champion, and their champion can attack through Tassiger now. Oh my god. Yeah, that second Anointed Peacekeeper, I really needed Tainted Indulgence to find me what I had to find, and I am dead on this board next turn. Okay. Disappointing. One too many stacks pieces to even make a shot out of it. And the game one, Thalia just collapsed to the hand that I didn't know what I was playing against yet. But we had a very exciting game too. On to the next one.
You come here to level up at Magic. To level up as a software engineer, check out the new YouTube series Dev Better, hosted by the founder of 7 Factor Software and Magic player, Jeremy Duvall. 7 Factor's small teams of high-performing engineers build custom mobile apps, APIs, and highly scalable systems for Fortune 500 companies and ambitious startups with great ideas. If you'd like to hire 7 Factor, or maybe join their team, contact them through their website at 7factor.io. And don't forget to subscribe to 7 Factor's YouTube for every episode of Dev Better.
I'm on the play in round 2, and this hand is a black card away from being a grief scam start. But I am going to keep it. It has one piece of several of what my deck does. I have a lot of A's, just looking for a B. Oriole Grazer. Okay, looks like some amulet across the board here. Primeval Titan would be a cool thing to steal with Etali. I'm going to fetch a Watery Grave here. Is that right? I could get Overgrown Tomb. Blue is my enabler color, but I have 2 basic islands. I'm not going to need to fetch those. I'll just get the Reading Pool then. Okay. Do I want to fetch? Just play Creed. Opponent taking a second to read that one. Don't worry about it. Not a problem. Just Gardens Go from my opponent. No black card, no action found anywhere in the top of my deck. Good chance we're just dead to double Amulet next turn. I did need a little bit of help out of my deck here. Didn't get it. Ooh, they have a green in the pool. Oh, cool. Okay. So I'm going to fetch here and get Watery Grave. I don't think there's any universe where they get Pithing Needle. They're just getting an amulet. But making a construct tells me they're not ready to pop yet, because they could have had 2 amulets in play this turn and just gone insane. They didn't do that. I mean, amulet's crazy. Maybe they have another one in their hand and they can go nuts somehow. Or maybe they just have nothing and we're getting a turn to grief them. Or better. Gaze, not better. And I do unfortunately have to take damage to get grief into play here. Exactly how I drew this deck up. Just no plays until your turn 4 hardcast grief. That's what I was trying to do the whole time. I will cream my crops here. None of these are good. I guess if I take Thought Scour, I could conceivably end up with the ability to reanimate something. Oh wow. Their hand is nothing. That's why they did what they did. They have a Teleria West in there that can do stuff. Simic Growth Chamber is only good for 1 blue. Mycosynth Gardens can filter a blue. Maybe just don't draw Primeval Titan, and we're getting along just fine. If they have to spend this turn transmuting Teleria West, and then next turn prime timing, a second Amulet now. that makes their constructs big enough to beat Grief in combat. Just played Teleria West as their land. That's weird. I don't know what's going on over there. Would I rather have Grief in play? I could flux with it. I could flux it as an instant next turn. I think I would rather have a higher life total. They don't play removal spells though. But neither do I. Okay, I will... No, 4 life is fine. I'll go to 4. I'm drawing Thought Scour. I'm gonna Otherworldly Gaze first. I need to find a monster and a Goryos in this. These all go to the graveyard. Bad news. Graveyard, graveyard. I guess I could Thought Scour myself still. Oh, I'm about to Thought Scour myself. Yeah, these all just go to the graveyard. And Thought Scour myself. So now I need to mill a creature and hit Goryos. Did mill a creature, but I'm dead on board. Essence Flux is not going to save me here. I can't flashback Gaze and do what I want to do. All right, bummer. We just died to the worst amulet draw in history. Subtleties and Force of Vigors come in. Force of Negation comes out. Don't do a lot of that. I kind of don't want to cut Grief, but also I'm bringing in 7 other pitch spells that are better in the matchup and better supported in the color spread. Okay, that's what I'm doing. The one non-blue land in my deck to go with this Otherworldly Gaze. Everything's working out great here. Okay, I have a Goryos, and this hand is not good. Don't make any mistake, but I am going to keep it. My opponent saw just enough of my deck to know I'm a Reanimator strategy, so they might be doing something obnoxious to counter it. Yep. Hate my life. Thanks for asking. I guess I fetch here anyway. Get Cream of the Crop set up. The super awkward thing that did occur to me during deck building is that you can't really juke graveyard hate because Neoform also cares about your graveyard because your 6-drops care about your graveyard in order to cast them. It's not like a Reanimator Show and Tell deck in Legacy where you can come from the hand or come from the graveyard. It's the enabler for the hand combo is a graveyard card too. All I can do here is pass and hope to do a lot all in the same turn. Or hope that this Mull to 5 collapses under them and they have to emergency draw a card at some point. Saga. Don't love that. You have a Dryad as well. Oh yeah. Roll Turf probably picks up Forest. Yep. Okay. I'm gonna try to get Tasigur in here. If they tap Relic right away. Okay, yep. You know how this works. If I could have had both my fetch lands in the graveyard at the same time, we would have gotten some traction there, but instead, we just have to pass the turn. Okay, they did see both Hooting Mandrills and Atraxa off my Thought Scour last game. They know that every object in my graveyard matters. Are we just getting prime time now? And this can get 2 Valakuts and just light me up. Yeah. Okay. Tainted Indulgence. Oh wait, am I dead for Xaxes? No, I'm at 2, right? Yeah, I'm at 2. I fetch to 1. Tainted Indulgence can put a second card in my graveyard and get back Atraxa, and they currently don't have mana to pop Relic, so I technically have a draw. Thought Scour or Tainted Indulgence are live, and this one's way too late to the party. Okay, a complete non-match there. The focused, real, modern Tier 1 combo deck versus my goofball combo deck. We did not win that heads-up matchup. The Command Tower software by Eminence Gaming is perfect for hosting TCG events. It features easy-to-create event registration for 1v1 and 4-player Swiss structured tournaments. Event management has never been so simple, and it's web-based, so there's no download required. Get access for just $5 at eminence.event/subscribe. I'm on the play for round 3, and this time I do have the Grief Scam. I'm going to keep it. And I think I pitch Vengeance and keep Tasigur. Or I'm holding Vengeance. No, I pitch Tasigur. Holding Vengeance makes all of my other cards good. All of my mill cards. target before I sacrifice. Oh, good. We are a mill deck. Actually, that does kind of rule. But unfortunately, they get to archive trap me twice. And they have 2 surgicals. I can't even take one of them and survive this. I'll start by taking one of them. And get Watery Grave. And I'll flux my Grief and get archive trap twice, and they surgical on my best cards, and then they're kind of out of gas after that. And we'll see what happens here. Trap. Didn't hit anything too important there. Another trap. There is a Atraxa in my graveyard now. But there's also a Etali, and there's no Goryos. Okay. This could actually work out pretty well. Hitting Thief. Wow, I don't even care about that. I'm getting an extra card for free. Deal. This doesn't exile the one from play. Okay. Flicker my Grief. And let's take another card from this hand. I'm going to take Fractured Sanity and just let them hang out on their Field of Ruin redrop combo. Is that even a keep? Like, I don't play a lot of mill, but this hand looks bad. 2 archive traps, 2 surgicals, and then no real plan to advance the game after that. Okay. I just need to draw a land before they do anything. Great. Okay. They found a land. Cool. We're in there. Now I have to decide how I want to handle this. I think I want to end step. Yeah, I'm gonna pass. Oh, I forgot to play my land. Oh my god. I was thinking about the end step already. Okay, please don't draw another land to just kill me. Shit. Let's see that Field of Ruin. Well, that was awkward. My god. Well, that land doesn't cast Tasha's Hideous Laughter. Not right away. By the way, you're taking 7 this turn. Okay. I will attack my opponent with Grief. I'm probably supposed to fetch on my turn, even if I'm going to play a card on their turn, because I know they didn't have trap a second ago. Now they might have a trap. Do I have 2 islands left in... I have 1 island still in the deck. I'm going to float black. Get ruined. There are 3 Essence Fluxes still in this deck. That is the card I'm trying to hit. We've got 1, 2, 3 fetchables. The graveyard. My deck has 1, 2. Or I'm looking for black sources. 2 Watery Graves and an Overgrown Tomb. There are 1 Watery Grave, 1 Overgrown Tomb. Yeah, the problem is if I miss on the flicker, my Atraxa just goes away for no reason. I'm gonna fetch now just to verify that I have a black source left in the deck. Okay, I do. Okay. I am going to pass into the end step and go for end step Atraxa. Goryo, target Atraxa. We're in there. I did not find the flicker. Glad I waited. Another Vengeance should kill them. A land that doesn't matter. A creature that doesn't matter. And there's no sorcery here. Okay, Etali should win the game here. Bring this back. Let's cast some spells. God creates dinosaurs. God kills dinosaurs. God creates man. Man kills God. Man creates dinosaurs. On to sideboarding. Mill, huh? I have the Emrakul. Thanks, Aspiring Spike. Stubborn Denial looks good here. Veil of Summer looks good here. Veil does some stuff. It doesn't do a whole lot. Grief. Grief is fine, I guess. Grief did let me know what I was playing against. They are a surgical extraction deck, but they're also a deck that shoves my deck into my graveyard for me. Maybe I should stop the Grief Flux thing. Let's focus on stubbing and being a tempo deck. They could have Ensnaring Bridge. How do I beat that if I don't bring in Force of Vigor? I don't. I have to counter it on the way down. I think I want some number of Force of Vigor in, and I'm going to cut the cream of the crops. And let's do it. Okay, I can keep this hand. It is meaningfully interactive. If I can keep them from surgicaling my Emrakul, we're in business for kind of a long time and can take our time doing whatever we want. They spiked a Force of Vigor. That is something I wanted. Ruined Crab. This one is each opponent. This is a card I cannot counter or interact with in my deck in a meaningful way. Kill me for 3. Probably supposed to fetch in response there. I am going to fetch Shock for Breeding Pool right now. If they trap me, I can Veil it. If they don't trap me, I have my land. My life total doesn't matter here. I have a Neoform. I just need a monster. One of my Delvers. Field of Ruin. This is good for a lot of mill. Etali. Are ruining my field. Other breeding pools already in the graveyard. I'm going to float blue here to kind of try to get off the scent of Veil of Summer. I'm going to fetch the Overgrown Tomb while I still can. Milled for 3 here. There's the Emrakul. They only have... Alright, cool. Emrakul worked. They didn't have the interaction. That makes me pretty confident in casting Otherworldly Gaze here, which is not a card I would normally cast against mill. Okay, Graveyard. Graveyard. Top the Tainted Indulgence. Try to flash this back right away, but kind of like saving that. I don't want to get too aggro with that against mill. They are starting to climb above what Stubborn Denial can interact with without a creature around. Grab another 3. Indulgence needs 5 or more mana values. There's a Tasha's that I can't counter. It says each opponent. Okay, please don't take my Emrakul. Emrakul was not among the cards taken. I think I'd rather Otherworldly Gaze here. That sees more cards than Indulgence. Okay, cool. Graveyard, Graveyard, and Tasigur on top. They can mill me for 1 somehow right now. They can mess up my setup. I'm just going to shove Tasigur. I'm going to leave 3 different mana values in my graveyard by overpaying for... Not overpaying, but, you know, not delving the max. Emrakul's still in the deck somewhere. Tasha's is the only card that can get rid of it for good. I can Stubborn Denial as Surgical. Go to Delta, build 3. That's just going to mill another 3. They don't seem worried about Emrakul right now. Another Tasha's. I got to stub this. My deck is almost out of cards. And Emrakul's in there somewhere, and my mana values are pretty cheap overall. They could drown in the lock this. I tried to pay 1, but I have Tasigur. I am ferocious. Good Grocious. Tass is ferocious. Their Force of Vigor. Oh, I get to attack now. And I can Neoform. I have it. What's left in my deck? There is 1 Etali in my graveyard. There's 1 Atraxa in my hand. There's none in exile, so Neoform is good here. Or Atraxa. I believe that is the correct one to get. Okay, I have 5 cards in my hand. If I get an instant, Stubborn Denial, a land, Breeding Pool, no sorceries, and a creature, Emrakul, I can discard Emrakul a hand size. Okay. And I'm going to force the issue on Emrakul here in my cleanup step while I have Stubborn Denial protecting it. And my graveyard's back in my deck. Let's go. Back to crabbing. Now I have a real threat. They're on a 2-turn clock. They know I have stubs backing it up. I can beat a Ensnaring Bridge multiple times with my hand. Go for the throat. Don't think this can be my fight. I have other ways to get more of those back in the mix as the game goes on. Shame I couldn't make my land drop last turn. Chase Perfected Mind. This just mills, right? Target player mills 3, then if a graveyard has 20 more in it, you draw 3 cards, otherwise you draw a card. Oh, it mills and draws. Okay. I guess I'm going to counter this. This denies me the... Oh, it's funny that this works for Xaxes, even though my creature's gone. They had Phyrexian this. They would have been able to pay for stub. That was face up. Interesting turn. Okay, now Surgical and Tasha's are both back on for the Emrakul, and I gotta figure something out kind of quick. Neoform, okay. Gonna indulge. Am I at critical mass? I didn't count, but I feel like I might be. Yeah, I'm actually just there. Good to go. Gonna shock in my land, leave up Veil of Summer. They have 2 cards in their hand. Emrakul is among the 19 cards in my deck somewhere. Hedron Crab. That does not beat Emrakul. And land. Okay. They're Hellbent, and Emrakul is still in the mix somewhere. They milled a bunch of stuff. They can Ghost Quarter me. They can also Ghost Quarter themselves. I think I want an Otherworldly Gaze. Okay, this found everything that I wanted. I wanted Thasiger, so Emrakul on top, Veil on top under that, and Thasiger on top above all of that. I get to Thasiger here. Don't know if there are lands left in my deck. Thought Scour, Redundant Thasiger, Tainted Indulgence. This is a lot of Etalis. I'm exiling cards from my graveyard that I don't want to see if they come around again. And is there an Atraxa in my deck right now? There's one in my graveyard. Yes, there should be. I can even fetch and take a look. This fetch, good chance it fails to find. I don't actually know. But there is an Atraxa, and there is an Emrakul. Okay. Dino-Form this. They can Ghost Quarter themselves in response and try to mill all my targets out, but if they hit Emrakul without hitting everything else, they're in trouble. They have 5 cards in hand. Can I do the Emrakul trick again? Slumber Denial is a spell, and Hooting Mandrills is a creature. No sorceries, no lands. Okay. Just going to put Emrakul back in the deck and pass the turn. So they need to mill me for at least 7 cards and deal with Emrakul and get through Slumber Denial. So Tasha's doesn't do it. Surgical doesn't do it. Oboro is pretty spicy, but the Emrakul is still a problem that they don't have answered. And now they're doing the trick where they GQ themselves. I guess they're just checking if I've drawn the Emrakul. I have not. Or they just saw it in the Atraxa pool. They know that I did not draw the Emrakul. They know it's in there. And my graveyard's back in my deck again. They get another mill 3. And I have 7 cards in my hand, so even if I draw Emrakul, I can just go to cleanup and drop it. Deck for 8. And I don't need to do anything here, so I'm just going to go to cleanup and drop my Force of Vigor. I'm not going to cast any spells when I have multiple levels of protection up against a Hellbent opponent who's dead on board. Shelldock Isle. That's probably 1 turn too late. They're still playing it out, though. They're like, yeah, I'm dead on board. What are you going to do about it? I'm going to shuffle my deck in with Emrakul again. Cool. All right. On the board officially, turns out trying to mill out the Emrakul Reanimator deck is not a good strategy. On to the next one. We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. Friendly reminder that if you're still here and having fun, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can use my affiliate link for TCG Player to support the channel while you shop for cards, and you can try any deck anytime with a cardhoarder.com loan account for Magic Online. All these links are in the video description below. Now back to the league. I'm on the draw for round 4. And I have some lands and spells. Let's do it. Got a lot of setup here. Here to be battling against Amulet again. Gonna land go and start spewing off Thought Scours on my turn. Amulet of Vigor. I mean, Force of Negation's probably not getting better in this matchup. I'm gonna Thought Scour myself now off of Breeding Pool. See if I draw a different blue card. Like if I draw a Atraxa, I'd be pretty happy to pitch that rather than my second Scour. Gaze. Is Gaze better than Scour? I did hit a blue card, that's why I did it in this order. I think Gaze actually is better than Scour. So I'm going to force this. Pachuca bogged immediately. Cool. Glad I kept the Gaze. Opponent's like, nah. There's Atraxa. I think gazing is more important than cream of the cropping. I can put 5... I could hoot right now if I'm willing to commit to milling every card I see, no matter what it is. This only blows me out if Neoform is the top card in my deck. Okay, I'm gonna fetch for... Oh no! I milled and randomly exiled my Overgrown Tomb. Oh, it doesn't matter. I can get Watery Grave to cast the Gaze with. I already have green. All right, it's fine. The Otherworldly Gaze. All of it in the graveyard. And bin. Hoot. Okay, now Neoform is a banger of a draw. My hand is functionally empty, but I have pressure on. My opponent has a second Amulet. It's like they play 25 of those. I do understand that the deck plays a bunch of ways to tutor it and stuff. Oh, they missed a land drop, though. Give me that. Attack you for 4, and then I'm going to play Cream of the Crop, and then Grief, and I get to look at my top 3. I'm going to Cream last after I know what I need to deal with. Oh, you're in a Atraxa Dramatic Entrance deck. Okay. I'll take the Dramatic Entrance, I guess. Don't want Atraxa to be in play. At least not for you. I want it for me. On Neoform. Painted Indulgence. It's kind of like Neoform, except worse. In basically every way. They have access to 4 mana right now. They did have a land they could play last turn. They just didn't play it. Seiju. Attack for my 4. And is there any reason to indulge now? I don't think so, because they can Growth Chamber pick up Bajuka Bog, then Arboreal Grazer put in Bajuka Bog. Oh, it's go time. They have found mana number 6. The Grazer puts in the Growth Chamber, then they play Growth Chamber again, and that's how all this works. Yes, I'm dead. Is there anything in my deck I can hit off this Indulgence that would be helpful? No. Okay, so I guess have to hope that I'm still alive, though I don't know how that would happen. Here's the Primeval Titan. They are holding Bajuka Bog. See if they have the whole based business. I don't know how they wouldn't, but this is a weird Dramatic Entrance Atraxa deck. This is not traditional Amulet, but it looks like they still have all of the things you'd expect in the deck. So where did the room for the Atraxa package come in? Do they have the double strike land as well? Or am I going to get to untap one time here? Okay, just 2 sagas. Sure. They're holding Bajuka Bog, but they don't have a land drop. I take 8 here. I have 3 looks at Goryo's Vengeance to still possibly win this game. Alright, come on, Goryo's Vengeance. Blue-black in the end step. Discard Etali. And Goryo. An exciting conclusion. Subtlety and Force of Vigor come in. The Dramatic Entrance is kind of annoying, because that makes me kind of want Stubborn Denial, but I'm not going to do that. The Grief is kind of interesting, but the Forces and Griefs out for different Forces and Subtleties. That's 7 pitch spells out for 7 pitch spells. It's just so pretty. Okay. I'll keep this hand. This is a lightning quick go form. And I'm going to play around Bajuka Bog by not doing this at sorcery speed. And step, Watery Grave, Thought Scour, hit a Goryo's, and Island Tassiger. Okay. I can Dino-Storm next turn if I want to. I could also Atraxa and hold up a Flicker if I want to do that. Breeding Pool, shock it in, back with Tassiger, get at least that going. And they have some exciting cards in their deck, including Atraxa and a Neoform for Dino. I am taking fun over power here, but I think that's okay. I'm going to cast the Explorer. I'm not going to cast the Neoform, because that's not how this works. You have to actually get something that costs more. I found a Subtlety. I can still Flicker Essence Flux, or Flicker Etali with Essence Flux. They get to tutor. Amulet. I have a Primetime covered, and if they put it on top of their deck, wink wink, I know something we can do with it. Explore. Let's get some another land drop. That was basically free. Storm is 1. Riot of the Elysian Grove. Do I want to Subtlety this or save it for the Primetime? You can have this one. And Valakut, sure. Arboreal Grazer. There's more coming. Let's go. Valeria West. I'd love to draw an untapped land. That was not that. Here's my 8/8. Take 5 trample. And they would have to dramatic entrance me to, they want to do this turn. They have the subtlety. Here are all their land drops and amulet triggers. Summoner's Pact. Okay. Please get a prime time. I guess it doesn't matter. Any creature is fine. Prime time. Dramatic entrance. I've been hoodwinked. Okay. What can I do about this? Basically nothing. I can flicker Etali and see what comes out. I could Tainted Indulgence and still flicker. Bummer. Alright, well. Or I could flicker Etali to block primetime if I still have... I need to find a Force of Vigor. That's what needs to happen here. Okay, I'm gonna Flux first. And I found Cream of the Crop and Dramatic Entrance. Oh my god. I'll cast your Dramatic Entrance under my Cream of the Crop, and then I get to set up Atraxa, digging for whatever I want, basically. Thanks for that. Need to find a Force of Vigor. Was not in the mix, but there's another Essence Flux here. Will at least refire my combo. Essence Flux is my instant. Subtlety is my creature. Polluted Delta is my land. All right, let's go again. Party time. We're creaming again. There's a Force of Vigor. I want Force of Vigor, Hooting Mandrills, and Polluted Delta. Oh shit. What did I just do? This is... I think I put Force of Vigor on top. I thought I was resolving Atraxa, but I was resolving Cream. Okay, yeah, Force of Vigor was still there. Cream's an enchantment. Force is an instant. Neoform's a sorcery. Tassiger's a creature. Polluted Delta's a land. There we go. Full boat. Best Atraxa yet. And Force of Vigor. Now I can let Dramatic Entrance happen. And then Force of Vigor takes out... I can take out Dryad anytime. I'm just worried about the double amulet. Force take out Dryad and amulet, pitching Cream of the Crop. Can still get an attack here, but they're not going to Valakut me out. They have 1 card left in their hand. I have bigger creatures than Primetime. That was an absolute delight. Gonna get their attacks. Here comes an 8/6 Primeval Titan. Let's see what the payoff is. Oh, they do have the double strike lands in their deck. Okay. Okay, so I just block with Etali. Then Etali dies. I take 1, then I take another 8. Then Atraxa comes back into the mix. I block with Etali. I'm at 6. And in my end step, I'm going to Tainted Indulgence. It's just raw draw cards at this point. And I'm going to attack with Atraxa for the life swing. And then I can Tassiger and flip Tassiger into Etali to cream my crops. Neoform on top, not that it matters. These are all about to go away. Neoform. Sack Tassiger. Got a dinosaur. Cream of the Crop. Yes. Goryo's Vengeance. Oh, I should have done this pre-combat. That would have won. Okay, I'll take... Do I want to Flux this or force the amulet? I think I want to Flux. Another Dramatic Entrance. Let's go. Okay. Dramatic Entrance. And I'm going to Flux Etali because I'm going to get another Atraxa anyway. Another Cream of the Crop. Doctor, I've chosen to endorse your park. I can Flux again. Just keep doing that. It remains good. A Primeval Titan. Don't mind if I do. And I'm going to Flux Etali again. Oh, these crops are so creamy. I want Hooting Mandrills rather than Tainted Indulgence. Just more creatures on the board seems pretty good. Endurance, Hooties. So I can Hoot. I can Cream. Put Goryo's Vengeance on top of my deck. Doesn't matter. Endurance. I'll target my opponent, I guess. Primeval Titan, let's go. I'm going to prime time first, then cream, because then I actually get to keep the card. Watery Grave, Breeding Pool coming into play. Gonna cream some crops. This sets up Atraxa. There is Force of Vigor. And Dramatic Entrance can put in Atraxa. I'm going to cream second. Oh, I have to keep one of these first. Is one of them bigger? No, they are the same. I'll keep the new one. And cream second, because Atraxa will change the order anyway. Instant, land, creature, or no, Overgrown Tomb's a better land. Instant land creature. And cream my crops, which found, I guess among these, Tainted Indulgence is the best. And I do still have a land drop. Saving that, I think I saw Goryo's Vengeance somewhere along multiple that I could have put in my hand. If I knew I was going to end up with an extra land drop, maybe I should have kept that. Okay, I'm going to play the other Hooties from hand. Cream my crop some more. There's a Goryo's, okay. And now I go to clean up, discard a land. The opponent has to pay for Pact, and then I just have to survive this Primeval Titan. I'm going to Force of Vigor the Amulet. Oh god, another one. This is probably getting Dryad. Okay, yeah, this is what we kept hold of the Force for. Force is face up. Pretty sure that came out of an Atraxa, like everything else I drew that turn. Here's Dryad. And they played a Vesuva copying Valakut. Take this opportunity to destroy their two things. Who's the Amulet deck now? I believe this is still the deck I want to present. The one thing that I could do that goes way over the top is put Emrakul in the mix for Etali hits. Like, that's just a GG. If I can cream of the crop or just randomly spike Emrakul. Emrakul can also come back from a board I'm behind against, which this deck is mostly not great at. Okay, I think I am going to cut a cream, even though that was an awesome showcase of it for an Emrakul on the draw. Just one extra nut banger that can put a game into the dirt. Because both of these decks can go over the top of each other, which is kind of crazy. That like Atraxa Etali might not be enough, and Primeval Titan plus attack plus double strike plus multiple triggers might not be enough from them. This hand is almost there. It's all B's, no A's. I gotta mulligan this in this matchup. Okay, I will keep Force of Vigor, Tainted Indulgence as an engine. Put Etali on the bottom. And we're off. Found a Goryo's, cool. That makes me wish I bought him to land instead of Etali. But if they don't make me force, I can have a turn 3 Atraxa here. I'm going to fetch Breeding Pool. Holding Watery Grave. Watery Grave, zap it in. Pass the turn. Find out where this turn's going together. I can Subtlety or I can force. If they just don't really do anything, though, that's a good target for force. Okay, I'm going to Tainted Indulgence in the end step and go for big Atraxa energy. I have the Energy Flux, or Essence Flux. Energy Flux is a different card in a different format. Misty Rainforest leaves my options open. Goryo's the Atraxa, pre-combat. With a handful of forces and subtleties. Subtlety, pitching. Subtlety. Subtlety, your endurance. You had to pitch and explore to do that. We're in there. Atraxa is good for Subtlety is a creature. Neoform's a sorcery. Blue to Delta is a land. Force of Vigor is an instant. I'm just trying to get my colors right here. I want to make sure that I can pitch cast the cards I want to pitch cast next turn. And they're just conceding. They don't even want to see the flux. Heck yeah. Out comboed the combo. On to the final round. We're rallying in the back half. We have a positive record coming up. For the absolute best Magic the Gathering apparel on the market, check out the link in the video description to coalesceapparel.shop and be sure to use the code BoshNRoll for 10% off when you check out. On the draw in the last round with a positive record on the line, I have said multiple times in the league I would keep this one lander if it had Otherworldly Gaze, and time to put that to the test. I have a quick Hooties or a quick Goryos if my deck cooperates at all here. Even at Force of Negation to interact, I don't mind losing one of these extra blue cards. Deep. Misty Rainforce, it's the mirror match. Second Goryos, ready to go. Oh god, it is the mirror match. Okay, it's not the mirror match. It's Living End. Close call. Not that I'm excited about playing against this deck, but at least we've got a chance. They are a Grief deck, that's why they're cycling main phase. Okay. I can fetch Watery Grave to guarantee black for Goryos, or I can fetch... Yeah, it's definitely just Watery Grave. Playing Hootie doesn't matter here, because they're a deck with a bunch of main deck Wrath of Gods in the form of Living End. Otherworldly Gaze. If I could just dump some Boom Booms in my graveyard, they might not even be able to Living End. Just give me Atraxa and Etali in the top 3 here. Tassiger and 2 lands. I'm going to put Tassiger into the graveyard and the Breeding Pool. I actually do want this other land, though. I would like to cast spells this game, maybe. Luda Delta is in play. If they go for a Living End, I can Otherworldly Gaze in response, and then see how I feel about it. And I'm going to Gaze in the end step, because if they respond by Living End, Force of Negation is on. If I go to my turn, then they can do whatever. Breeding Pool, zap it in, step Gaze. Kind of hoping they do Living End in response here. Oh god, just 3 cards for the graveyard. I think these all just have to go to the graveyard. Graveyard, graveyard, graveyard. This does deny hard cast Force of Negation if I kept a land, but if they go in my upkeep, I don't have that anyway. Okay, that's pretty sick. I can Gaze in response to a Living End. Let's see if they go in my end step, or if they're just cycling some more. I guess I should have kept that land, huh? I did not expect to get past my upkeep if they were going to do this. Okay. I will Gaze again and hopefully find Atraxa or Etali. One of the bangers. Let's go. Yeah, Atraxa's in the graveyard. And I'll leave the other 2 on top because Atraxa is about to put them in my hand. Shame concede. Summer Denial coming in. Veil of Summer beats Mystical Dispute, Grief, and Force of Negation. Griefing them is not the worst thing. Do I think Grief or Force of Negation will be more reliable in this game? Probably Force of Negation. I'm going to shave some Essence Fluxes because I'm also shaving Griefs. And Cream of the Crop. Probably too cute for this speed-based crazy matchup, which means I can get a Grief back in. I don't dislike Grief. Oh, Unlicensed Source is definitely for this matchup. I should find room for that one. I'm going to shave another Flux. I think that's a little too cute. I'm either going to outmuscle them on board or I'm not. Ooh, tough beat. I have the Unlicensed Hearse, but no Enabler, no second land. I'm going to mulligan this. Veil of Summer is not a good card in isolation. It's good if it's backing up a hate piece. Having these creatures in my hand makes Tainted Indulgence a really good find. Don't think this hand is good, but I am going to keep it. Okay, Leyline of the Void. I did not bring in my other things, my forces of vigor. I'm going to have to Neoform this game, and I'm going to have to do it by hard casting. Oh God, I even drew the card that I exactly said. What's the card that would be great if I draw? Alright, they're winding some rivers here. A Wraith. Number 2, disappointing. Grab a Watery Grave. Grief is my most castable creature in my deck. Just heads up. I'm going to shock in this Breeding Pool. Cycling Architects. And they didn't have a second cycle. Do they have land number 3? And do they have the Cascade spell? They do have land number 3. I think I can sneak an Indulgence through here because they have to respect Force of Negation right now. But if they just go, then Good job, I guess. Okay, I missed, so I think I have to discard Atraxa here. Yeah, she's just not going to be part of this game. Or are they just going to shove into Force of Negation right now after I've drawn 2 cards? And it's going to work. Congratulations, but curious sequencing here. Okay, is there any reasonable way to win this game anymore? Nope. All right, I'm just going to concede and I guess bring in my Force of Vigors for the next one. I don't know if I need 4 of these, but I would like some number. And it's pretty awkward that Leyline is just one card that they could have, but it turns off my whole deck. I can shave a Tasigur. All of this makes Neoform worse, but Grief is my most castable thing. I can just try to get low to the ground as hyper disruptive as possible, and then just, if we both fail to function, move into the mid game with bigger creatures than them, and the option to Neoform. I think I'm actually shaving in Etali. Sorry, buddy, but gotta make room for all these things that my opponent is making me do. Okay, I'm gonna keep. My hand is the Stone Nuts if they don't have Leyline. Okay. Now I have the real decision of Grief pitching Goryos and then try to Tasigur quickly into Neoform. I think that's the play. I'm going to pitch Goryos. I could Otherworldly Gaze first and see which one is going to be better. That plays into Graveyard Hate like Endurance. Or if I Grief first, it doesn't matter. This is a turn 2 Tasigur, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, this is a turn 3 Neoform, if I think that's fast enough. I'm going to Grief pitching Goryos. I don't want to open myself up to Graveyard Hate if I don't have to. Like, I can check for it here. Force of Negation, Street Wraith, your own Grief. Force of Negation's always going to be good. If I take Street Wraith, that turns off Grief and is a draw they don't get. I think it's got to be Force of Negation, though. That stops all parts of my plan. Okay, here you go. Then I'm going to shock in Watery Grave and pass the turn. Hate when my opponent's hands are good. Now, cycled Riverwinder, cycled Wraith. Interesting. Cycled another Wraith. Okay. They have completely changed the hand since the last time I saw it. They're griefing. I'm going to gaze in response. Tali into the graveyard. And Luda Delta into the graveyard. And I think I'm going to leave Hooties on top. Because if they try to get clever and take Tasigur, then I can play Hooties. If they take Neoform, I can just play whatever creature I want. Okay. They did take the Neoform. That means I'm going to cast Tasigur. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to cast Tasigur, leaving Etali in my graveyard. If they ever living end, it's going to cost them a 7/7 dinosaur and 2 spells. If they end step it, it could be good enough. I know they have Shardless Agent. I don't know what else they've developed. Oh yeah. Finding the stubs here is pretty sick. Now we're just playing Sultai Tempo. Hans block constructed. Okay, they're cycling. They don't have it, or they're not ready to fire it. Both of which are possible options. Yeah, they just don't have land number 3. Happy to kill you with a Tasigur. Oh god. So if I Neoform into Atraxa here, that does put lethal on board. If they counter it, that's fine. This also puts Tasigur in the graveyard if they living end. It's just more material. They did have Force pitching Shardless Agent. Okay. Maybe I got a little antsy there. I'm willing to believe it. But they can't really living end either. And eventually I can Hoot. Land number 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'd have to exile my creatures if I wanted to Hoot here, so I'm just not going to do it. I need to get into the cast creatures phase of the game before they do, and I am closer than them. Here we go. Island. Island. I'm gonna hoot and leave Etali in the graveyard and get rid of Tassiger in order to leave up Stubborn and Nile. I think that's better than the theoretical value of if they resolve a Living End, when I could just counter Living End. They're dead in 2 hits here. Tainted Indulgence. Keep the party going. I could indulge now and try to hit a Neoform. I'm going to do that. I hit a Neoform. I've learned my lesson, though. They're dead on board. I'm going to make them answer it through a hard counter. And then we can have a conversation about Neoform. Cycling Riverwinder's not it. Cycling Street Wraith, not it. Misty Rainforest. Can go to 1. Okay, opponent's at 1. I have a 4 power creature, and they scooped it up. A positive record with Dino-Form Dino-Storm. It's hard to deny the excitement and power level of chaining Etalis and Atraxas and flickering them with Essence Flux. Very cool stuff going on there. We went over the top of both Living End and Amulet this league. That's an insane power level of cards in the deck. The cream of the crop actually showed up multiple times and was insane every time it was there. I guess I did die with it in play one time without actually doing anything. Then I would have wished it was a different spell. But every time we did the thing with the thing, it might have been win more, or it might have been win just enough, because it really does matter when you're triggering a Etali what's on top of your deck, which seems like an obvious thing to say, but the difference between like Otherworldly Gaze and Atraxa cannot be overstated. If you don't want the cream of the crop, playing Thought Scour number 4 and Grief number 4 are where I would go with those 2 slots. You don't really need it, and those are setup and protection spells that you do miss in the deck if you don't have them. But that cream was a lot of fun. I kind of want the sideboard to do something better against Graveyard Hate. You can board in your subtleties and just have some 4-mana 3/3s flyers that you can cast, but I don't know, I'm thinking like some creature that just does stuff on its own, like Tireless Tracker or something like that. You don't really want to settle into grindy games in Modern, because that's not really what the format's about, but I do want some meaningful sidestep to Potent Graveyard Hate. I guess other than just boarding in 4 Force of Vigor and hoping it's good. You could play some number of Brazen Borrower in the main deck, even. Maybe over your Force of Negations, over the cream of the crop slots could be those 2. Just something that answers something generically. There were multiple times in the league where a permanent came into play and I was like, well, can't beat that one. That's not really where I want to be. We are a crazy fast cannon combo deck, but that doesn't mean we have to be Ice Cold to hate cards. This list ruled, though. Etali is a serious monster, does serious things when it comes into play. And with a little tuning and tightening up the sideboard plan, this could be a great FNM deck. I recommend it. I used this quote already, but I'm going again. Kevin, after some deliberation, I can endorse your park. Everybody, thanks for coming to Jurassic Park. Hope you enjoyed your stay. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the Patreon, and I'll see you next time.